Shalom, my name is Nama Ru. This is my husband, Rabbi David Ru. He is full of knowledge, all kinds of information. His brain is jam-packed, and we are going to download some of it. So, this video is part of our series where we are discussing the Parshah and stories, tales from our tradition that are somehow related to the Torah portion of the week. What can you tell us about Chayei Sarah?
Well, after Sarah Imenu passes away, Avram Avinu sends Eliezer to find a shidduch for his son Yitzchak.
Wait, can I just break that sentence down really quickly? After Sarah Imenu, our mother or our matriarch Sarah, after Sarah Imenu passes away, Abraham, Abraham Avinu, our father, our patriarch, who was her husband. What was the next part? After Sarah Imenu passes away, Avraham Avinu
sends Eliezer to find a shidduch, to find a mate, a match, a wife for his son Yitzchak. And when Eliezer gets to the house of Bethuel and Lavan, he finds Rivka, and it's a shidduch, and at the end, Bethuel and Lavan say, "Mehashem yatzah hadavar," that this is something that came from God. And this idea of all shidduchim coming from God is found in many places, it's talked about in many ways. The Gemara says that 40 days before a person is conceived, a baskol goes out, a heavenly decree, let us say, says, Bas Poloni ben Poloni, the daughter of this person is going to be married to the son of that person.
It's a match made in heaven.
Yes. So, as it happens, this one poor, yet unmarried chassid, young man, goes to see his Rebbe, the Maggid of Mezrich. However, if you're from Mezrich, it's Mezirich. If you're from everyone else, it's the Maggid of Mezrich. And he goes for Yantif, as was common among the Chassidim. Before he leaves,
He goes for holiday.
he explains to his Rebbe his situation, that because he's so poor, no one's ever proposed a shidduch to him. And the Maggid says, don't worry, accept the first proposal of a shidduch that anyone gives to you. All right. So he travels on his way, and after sunset, he gets to an inn, and there are a bunch of local scoundrels hanging around the inn, having fun. Not his cup of tea, so he goes into a corner next to the stove where he can be a little bit warm. The huge, massive fireplaces that they used to cook in those days. And after a while, the chevra there ask him, where he's from, what's he's doing here, and so on. He tells them that he's from such and such a village, and he's coming back from seeing his Rebbe, the Maggid of Mezrich. And they said, what did the Rebbe say? He said, well, I'm looking for a shidduch, and I should take the first proposal. And the guy says, you know what? My sister is a young divorcee. She'd be a perfect shidduch. His sister doesn't have a sister. His sister that he doesn't have isn't divorced, but it's the landlord's, the tavern owner's daughter that he's planning with this joke. And the guy says, of course. Rebbe said, take it for shidduch, take it for shidduch. And landlord isn't home at the time. They draw up tonight the engagement agreement, and they have more fun. And when the guy says, yeah, we should have the wedding right now, everyone says, none of us knows how to write a ksuva. They didn't have printed forms in those days.
A ksuva, like a wedding contract.
Yes. And no one knows how to perform the ceremony. And the young chassid says, I can write up the ksuva and I can perform the ceremony. So they do it, and He writes up the ksuva. They find a talis to put over the couple as a chuppah. He gives her something to create the marriage. And then the Chavre really start having fun, and they're pulling on his hat and pushing him and this and that. And he finally runs away. He's scared for his life. He stays someplace overnight. The following morning, he's not sure what he should do. As he's heading back, he hears one of the servants say, the boss has come back. So he's, at this point, realized that it wasn't this guy's sister. It was the tavern owner's daughter. And he goes and he dresses himself to, hey, my father-in-law. He goes, what's going on? His daughter comes out and says, well, we were having fun last night, and we had this pretend marriage ceremony. At this point, the father is not so happy with what's going on, and he slaps his son-in-law, and then he realizes that this is not such a good situation. And he says to his son-in-law, listen, I'll give you 300 silver rubles if you'll give my daughter a get.
A get? A divorce?
Yes. And the guy goes, listen, I don't know. I have to talk to my Rebbe about it. He said to accept the first shidduch. I accept the first shidduch. So they travel back to Mezrich, and they go see the Rebbe. And the Rebbe says to the landlord, listen, I need to talk to the young man, the chassan, alone for a little bit. Come back in a while. A few hours as he goes, he gets a room. It's a long journey. He has to stay at least overnight. Comes back a few hours later. And the Rebbe says, well, he will agree to give your daughter a get for 1,000 silver rubles. And I will arrange a wonderful shidduch for your daughter with a wonderful young man that will provide 1,000 rubles. And he said the only reason why this young man is not married as of yet is because he's so poor. If he wasn't so poor, everyone would be, interested in him as a prospective son-in-law.
I'm guessing what the answer is, what happened.
And of course, everything goes through, and the landlord, is accepting of the fact that this is the way it's supposed to be, and that this is now his son-in-law with 1,000 silver rubles, and of course he doesn't lose anything. You may be interested. We've talked about it a little before. There were what are called arendas, and they were the rights to run an inn, but also to collect the taxes from all the surrounding land and to administer the surrounding land and paying a certain amount to the local squire. And often these could be very, very lucrative. So even though 1,000 rubles was a huge amount of money in that time, even 1,000 silver rubles as opposed to 1,000 gold rubles, nonetheless, it was quite within the ability of someone that was holding a lucrative arendas. I don't have a good translation of the term, to have that kind of money available. Anyway, you should all have a good Shabbos, and everything should be Mehashem Yatzah Hadvar. Everything should come directly from Hashem.